Hi, everyone. Welcome to College Financial Preps Preparing for College podcast. Excited today, a topic that we haven't spoken about at all, but certainly a fun one, an important one, and what could be an expensive one too. We're discussing decorating your child's college dorm. We're welcoming Liz Toombs from PDR Interiors. Welcome, Liz.
Thank you, Vicky. Thanks for having me.
Oh, you're very, very welcome. I love the idea. Well, first of all, I've been through it myself. It's definitely fun going out, and it's almost like shopping for a layette for a baby. You're starting over and buying all the things that your child needs. But it could be expensive. And, at College Financial Prep, we're all about saving money on college costs. And this is one of those hidden costs that people don't always think of.
Oh, you're exactly right. And sometimes you show up to campus, then you're like, oh, we all of a sudden we need these organization things and we need all this. And then several $100s later, after making trips to Walmart and to Target, you've racked up all these extra expenses that you weren't expecting.
Do me a favor, introduce yourself to everyone and tell us a little bit about the work that you do.
Yes, absolutely. As you said, I'm Liz. I own PDR Interiors. We are based in Kentucky, but we do projects all over the country. We have a very unique niche market in that we work with sorority houses. Or sorority spaces, I should say, anything from suites up to full houses, renovations, new construction, anything like that. So we work on a variety of college campuses in many states. And by default, and we have been pulled in to do some model dorm rooms at some universities, things like that. So we have some experience in understanding these are small spaces. You have to maximize these spaces. They need to be durable because the age range and the number of people that may be in the space, that they just take some special care. I'm always happy to geek out and talk about design and give any advice. I'm excited to be talking with you about this topic.
For those of you that don't know or haven't traveled to see many different universities or dorm rooms yet, they come in a variety of sizes.
You are not kidding. And styles and ages and all of it. Yes, you have everything from where 2 to 4 people could be sharing a cinder block room from built in the 60s or 70s up to things that have been built more recently that everyone has a private bedroom, maybe a shared kitchenette, a shared bathroom. It's really fascinating to me to see across the country and across the different schools how the styles of the dormitories have changed over the years.
I didn't live in this room, but I remember seeing a single, it was smaller than a closet. It was unbelievable how a bed fit in there.
York apartment, like a little shoebox apartment where you just have to take advantage of every nook and cranny.
Let's dive in. Maybe parents haven't even decided on a college yet, but you're thinking, let's look for sales. Start us off.
Definitely don't want to overbuy and end up with a bunch of junk or things that you won't need. In a perfect world, you have some dimensions of the space that your child will be moving into so that you can understand what will fit in there and what won't. If that's not your case, don't worry. There are still plenty of things you can do. I'm a huge proponent of baskets, bins, and totes. And so specifically what I mean by that is you think of Rubbermaid totes or whatever brand plastic tub with a lid. That is great for hauling things to the dorm. And then you can also tuck those bins under the bed because typically they're lofted, and that can act as storage for your child throughout the year. That could be for shoes, for clothing, sometimes for their personal food and snacks, depending on the setup. And then that helps keep any creepy crawlers out of it.
I know people always wonder how much room do they have under the beds? If you had to give somebody approximate inches or height wise, what would you say?
It varies. If you're in a bunk versus a lofted bed, you could say probably easily you could fit something that would be 18 to 20 inches tall. And sometimes if you're lucky, you could get more like 30. Over the years, those bases that you can put under the beds of feet, the risers, have become more popular. So even if the bed itself cannot be lofted on the frame, you can rise up and then you can put totes under there. And so it doesn't always have to be the tall, deep totes. It could be the lower ones with wheels that sometimes people will put sweaters in or Christmas wrapping. You can get very creative with this, and these things stack and they roll depending on the closet space. Sometimes you may be able to store totes in there. And then the baskets, I like if you need storage that's going to be out in plain sight, but you just need to collect the messiness. So think about like bathroom counters, the tops of your dressers, even desks. That's a great place for baskets because then you can put stuff that otherwise may be unsightly and just clutter things up. Set that out or sit it on a shelf, and then you know it's there, but you can always pull it down and get out what you need.
Fabulous. Tell us, girls' rooms, boys' rooms. Give us ideas where to begin.
Yes.
What do the kids like nowadays?
Oh gosh.
And what do the parents like?
Well, I don't know about the parents, but I can tell you what the kids are always asking for. And so, if you need to keep in mind that most of these universities won't let you hang nails or screw into the walls, so you have to get a little creative when you're talking about putting things on the walls. And the students always want to hang stuff. There's a lot of like Polaroid pictures or putting up strings with paper clips or cute, so they can put all their photographs on it. That's a great solution for a way to decorate the height of the wall. You want something else that's a little just not subjective, or you don't have to worry about changing the pictures out all the time. Wall hangings, like lightweight cotton tapestries, are very popular, and they're large, so they can create a really big impact. Also, lightweight canvases, things like that, that you could even put up with 3M strips, whether it's the sticky or the Velcro strips. 3M strips are going to be your best friend when it comes to moving in. Those types of things are really great for filling out the space. And then you can also,
I have to tell you, my daughter, she's only going into ninth grade. I have a son who's much older. That's the PhD program now. But my daughter, she even liked the idea. She did this herself. You mentioned the like the tapestries that hang on the wall. She did that in her room upstairs. Everybody's liking that right
they
now.
love it. String lights are still very popular, sort of those fairy lights. Sometimes people will use those as the backdrop to their beds. Headboards are a huge deal right now. People are bringing in their own upholstered headboards to put behind the dorm beds, or I've even seen what are called headboard pillows. So you can set them in front of the bed frame just so it dresses it up. I will tell you, the Southeastern schools are really driving the elegant looking dorm rooms. If you look up on Facebook, Dorms of Mississippi, you will be blown away at the spaces that these people create. A lot of times people will bring in wall-to-wall carpet and just have it cut and just laid over the existing carpet, so their kids have fresh carpet, or you can put down a rug, an extra seating piece. I will say that it's nice for your students to have somewhere else to sit other than their bed, whether that's a beanbag chair or a futon or one of those little saucer chairs that fold up. Those are very economical, and it gives them somewhere to sit. Another good solution is a storage bench, because then they can throw stuff in it, but also sit on top of it if they were to have friends over. And all of these things, as far as where to purchase them, you can just keep an eye out. Amazon is always a great resource. I love Home Goods because you're typically finding designer caliber items for a lesser price, and you can just gather them up over the school year or over the summer before you move. Even like I mentioned earlier, Target, Walmart, places like that, they're always going to be sending you things to your inbox promoting dorm essentials, and so you can watch for these things and for sales.
I think you mentioned earlier about sorority houses. What type of work are you doing in the sorority houses? I find that so interesting.
So most of what we do are the common spaces. Imagine dining room, living room, something like that. We will often space plan and specify their bedroom furniture, but we don't outfit it or decorate it. That's a place where the individual students can come in and let their personality shine, whereas we handle all those common spaces and making sure that it's branded well to the or to the organization, and is a great place for them to live out their college years and to go through recruitment in the house.
Very, very nice. Kids are starting to move in. You mentioned Mississippi before. What are they? Tell us what they're doing. What's happening in the South, so that way we could share it with the rest of the country.
Yes, you're seeing a lot of custom bedding being made, a lot of the upholstered headboards. Neon lights are still definitely having a moment, whether that would be a neon light made to support your school, your team, if it has your name, whatever the case may be. A lot of times the roommates are color coordinating everything so that they have matching bedding, and then their artwork and such matches. That's always been a topic. Do you match your roommate? Do you not? And it's just, that's a subjective thing. But yes, I'm telling you, you need to get on and look at some of these photos, because they bring in seating and lighting, and it is really quite a feat, and it's very pretty.
I don't even know. Are those large spaces or small spaces?
No, they're your typical, I'm gonna say like a 12 by 12 box. I could be wrong on the dimensions, but beds, usually they've got a nightstand or something between them, and then maybe a mini fridge or something. But I mean, these students really get creative. And I think the more you can use the vertical space in your dorm room, the more you're going to be able to achieve, instead of just feeling like everything has to be on floor levels. Don't be afraid to consider maybe adding a bookcase or adding some curtains if you want to make the room feel larger.
What have you seen that both the kids love and the parents love for the price?
Probably simple stuff like a neon light or a futon that usually creates some kind of impact and isn't super hard on the pocketbook. When you start getting into custom bedding and custom anything, that can get a little pricey, but yeah, a good bed in the bag never hurts anybody either.
I always see and hear people talking about, and I don't know if you get into this or not, mattresses. Should they get the mattress pads? What type of mattress pads? There's always, besides looking beautiful, you want the room to be functional too. And we certainly want the kids to get a night's rest so they could study.
Yes, absolutely. Most of the universities that we have been in, they will have the mattress with the antimicrobial cover on it. But yes, I think you could certainly add a memory foam topper or one of those egg crate toppers just to make it a little bit cushier and more plush for your student. And you always have to pay attention to, are the beds twin XL? Are they twins? Are they doubles? Which I'm just fascinated that anybody gets a double bed anymore. Whereas you were all stuck in twin beds when I was in school. But
I remember recently at a college, they had full-size beds for some of the older students.
it's a very nice perk for sure. I think you just have to figure out what your college is offering, and are they older mattresses, are they firm, and you're more of a soft mattress person, and then you can adjust and tailor what you're buying for the bed to suit your sleeping needs so that you are comfortable. Because to your point, if you're not getting good sleep, you're not going to be doing well in classes, and it's just going to affect everything else in your life.
As far as decorating and let's talk about studying, kids have desks in their rooms. Any suggestions how to optimize that study space?
Yes, I'm going to say something that may hurt some parents' hearts. The likelihood of the students actually sitting at that desk to study is pretty minimal. And it's not because they're not studying, but they're usually sitting cross-legged on their bed with their laptop on their lap, or they're lounged out, common space on the sofa. We see this a lot in the sorority houses that we do. We offer desks, but they usually, by the women, end up becoming makeup vanities more than anything, or a place just to hold stuff. All of that said, if you would like to make the desk a desk, make sure you have things like organizers for supplies like pens, pencils, staples, any of that kind of stuff, post-it notes. I always think a bulletin board is very helpful to have in your room, and a great place to put that is above your desk. That way, any kind of important notes or anything you can tack up there, or even pictures again, if that's what you want to do, or a whiteboard is great also. And then just make sure you've got good storage to notebooks or put papers so that everything isn't just piled up on the desk and overflowing, because typically they are in a small space, and so they may be butted right up against to the foot of the bed, so you don't want all that desk stuff overflowing onto your bed, or if you hit your blanket on the bed or on the desk, that everything's falling off.
Mentioned about like, cinder block walls, and so many
Yeah.
schools have that. How do you even hang a bulletin board?
That would be where your 3M strips really come in handy. And typically, the university will advise you on what you can use to hang things that would be kind of packet about your dorm. But strips are usually the winner. And I really like the ones that are sticky to the wall, sticky to the artwork, but then the Velcro in between, because I feel like you're getting extra grip. Because sometimes when it goes from cold to hot or hot to cold, those cinder block walls, the adhesive will fall off, and whatever you've hung on the wall will hit the floor. But sometimes if you've got that Velcro, it helps to keep it up there a little better.
Do you have any pictures of your work that you could show us? I'd love to see.
I do. Let me see. I don't have them quite ready here, but let me see if I can find some for you real quick.
Oh, let you share. And sorry if you heard my dog in the background, but
That's
Maggie
okay.
says hello.
Yes, no worries. I have a little one upstairs myself. I think he's taking a nap. Let me see. Okay. I'll screen share with you here.
Perfect. That way we can all see, get great ideas.
Let's see here. Is this working? There we go. Here, this is a sorority house that we had done. What's interesting is, let me see if it'll let me click through here. Oh, sorry. Hang on. Give me 2 seconds. Oops. Sorry. I don't know what's happening. I'm not sure what the green box is. What I was going to show you is this is the before.
Oh, wow.
From this very dark, feeling masculine space, even though it wasn't a masculine space, to this light and airy. Thank you. Then we have this space. This used to be a wrestling house on this campus, and we turned it into a women's facility.
Wow.
Said wrestling house. Here are some bathrooms that we did. You hop topic when you're doing these college spaces is, do you have a group bathroom? Do you do bathrooms in a suite style where maybe 2 to 4 women share them? You just want to make them feel as spa-like as possible. That's a trend on these campuses right now. Here's another great stairwell. It's a cool space that we've done.
Very nice. That's in a sorority house?
It is. All of these are in sorority houses. Here's a space we just installed back in January. This is the after. This is the before. We had a nice transformation there.
Definitely.
Here's another great bathroom. This bathroom was huge. It took up the whole center of the floor where the bedrooms were. And so one half of the bathroom was where the toilets and the sinks were, and the other half was the showers and the makeup counters. It had all of these LED lights. It ended up being a really, really beautiful space. Quartz countertops are what you're seeing. This is the other part I was talking about, the makeup counters. There's trash cans, there's baskets of blow dryers they put out. So really, we're trying to maximize the space for the women to be able to get ready so that if everybody was in there at one time, you could get through and get to class.
Well, that's great.
This was their old bathroom. You can see it was quite an upgrade.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Here's an example of the dining room. I try to always put in really durable products. These are laminate tables, vinyl chairs, but they still look very elegant. It looks more like a residential dining room, but it has the commercial durability to it.
Right. Beautiful.
Thank you. This was their old dining room.
Oh, wow.
Here's a fun TV room where the women just hang out on the sectional. They can watch TV, those ottomans they can sit on or kick their feet up. Here's their old one. I don't know how much more you want to see, but I can keep going.
No, this is great. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you for letting me
Love seeing these.
Good. So here's a fun room where they can study and hang out. No TV in here. It's a little bit more of a quiet space. These cases over here showcase trophies and awards and history regarding the house. That's kind of neat.
This is great to see because as everyone here is preparing for college, they may not even be familiar with the inside of a sorority house.
Yes, exactly. Here, these ottomans, you'll see these black squares in the center. Those are power outlets. The point is the women can, like I said, sit cross-legged, sit there with their laptop, hang out, but they have power sources for their phones, for their laptops, for whatever they need right there in the middle. They don't have to worry about going over to the wall to plug anything in. And you're seeing a lot of that on college campuses in general.
Wonderful.
Here's another one that kind of gives you a sampling of what we've done, I suppose.
Yes, that's great. So where is your next project taking you? Which campus?
We are going down to Texas Christian University in Fort Worth, Texas next week. Well, this is the second time we've installed down there. It's one of those that about every 5 to 7, maybe 5 to 10 years, these houses are doing updates. We had the pleasure of doing their house about 6 years ago. And so now we're back to do a refresh.
Wonderful.
Yes.
I love this.
Yeah, me too. I wish I wasn't going to Texas in August, but I do love the opportunity to get to do the project.
So I know you said you do mostly the common rooms. Do you help the kids with their own personal spaces too?
We are willing to. We have been approached a couple times. Nothing has ever panned out, but it's certainly something that we would consider because, we have done a number of the model dorms. And so we understand, what can be used and what products are good.
That's wonderful. Do me a favor, tell everyone where they can find you.
Absolutely. The website is PDR-interiors.com. We are on Instagram, PDR Interiors, on TikTok, PDR Interiors, and then I am on LinkedIn, and I'm Liz Toombs, Toombs. Thanks,
Liz. Thanks so much for talking to us about dorms and how to decorate and sorority, fraternity houses. It looks fabulous.
Well, thank you, Vicki. Thank you. Yes, and I hope that your listeners can get something of value from what I shared today.
Definitely. And certainly when you go and decorate the dorms, we all learned it doesn't have to be so expensive.
Nope, it doesn't. You can get away pretty economically and find some good stuff.
Thank you. And thanks to everyone for watching today's episode of College Financial Preps Preparing for College podcast. See you soon.